The Raven's Call is my fourth book. It was published last year in the winter of 2022. It is a Gothic mystery with elements of a love story. I gently placed my fingers on the grand piano in the drawing room. The keys were dusty. I hadn't played since September. The melody was mellifluous yet melancholic. I played in C-sharp minor, and with each note I felt the past, each fleeting moment coming back to me. I looked around the once grand drawing room. Not long ago had the golden chandeliers coruscated and twinkled, enchanting the scene as if from a fairy tale. The vibrant colors of the sofas and rugs had accentuated the magnificence. And look at it now. The only light left was a soft glow from the flickering candelabras. It was now like the ruins of an old Gothic church. I was expecting his return. I knew this time not only would he have questions, which he's always had, but that he would expect concrete answers. His patience was running out. And he had seen what I had not. The fact that she appeared to him and not to me means that she trusts him. And if she trusts him, then so should I. Daniel had been fatigued from watching over me from the previous night, and so I told him to rest. I walked to the woodlands at noon. It was chilly nonetheless, but it was a journey that I had made almost every day since September. There was an interval, sadly, since the time the detective commenced his investigation. I didn't want him to see where I ventured, but it was he who had discovered the iris growing. I could not believe him. I had to see it for myself. Oh, what a painful sight it was to see that blue flower with a touch of violet growing amidst the snow, amidst death. I wept that day. God only knows how many days I have spent weeping. I did think of plucking it and preserving it in a book, perhaps, for the sentimental value it carried. But plucking it would mean killing it. No, I could not bear the thought of seeing that beautiful iris withering slowly, like my broken heart. I let it grow, hoping, waiting, and yearning. I continued playing the piano. I was preparing for the storm, for I knew when the detective returned, the revelations would unleash havoc. At around 6:30 in the evening, I heard the main door creak open and close. I stopped playing. A moment later, Detective Eldridge pushed the drawing room door open and entered. He looked gloomily infuriated. He had dark eye circles under his eyes. His short ashen hair, always well coiffed until now, was dishevelled. His face was flushed and he had a stubble growing. I had always seen him smooth-shaven, save for his whiskers. His tall and broad physique, usually exuding energy and vigour, seemed enervated and drained. He was troubled. I knew that he had stumbled upon something dire. Without social niceties, he blurted out, "In all my years with the Metropolitan Police and Scotland Yard, I have never encountered anything like this. I have seen murders, the worst kind. I have unravelled conspiracies, but this case, the intricacies, the lies, the deceit, the horror, the mystery, it has left me doubting my own sanity." After a brief pause, I asked in a matter-of-fact tone, "What can I do to restore your sanity?" He breathed deeply, then exclaimed, "Take me back to where and how it all started." "Do you believe in eternal love, Detective?" Detective Eldridge ruminated the question momentarily before removing his top hat, his black frock coat, woolen gloves, and placed them on the mahogany coffee table over the documents that lay on it. He seated himself on the soiled sofa covered with sheets, whilst I continued to sit at the grand piano. He rubbed his hands to warm them The bleakness and chill of the drawing room disconcerted him. I knew a long night of interrogation lay ahead. He looked at me with a grave expression. It was as if he had anticipated that question. It was as if he had thoroughly scrutinized my mind and was simply waiting for me to narrate the truth. I do believe in love. Is that what's at the heart of all of this? He observed simply. I took a moment to gather my thoughts. It had to all come out one day. But I never thought I would be the one speaking to the detective. I never thought that he would hear the truth from me. For it will cause me immense anguish to narrate my story and to reveal what eventually took place on that dreadful night. He waited patiently for my answer, and I nodded. For most of it, at least. But I never lied to you when I told you I didn't know what happened to Lucy Hardwick. I despised that woman. I know what happened to Lucy Hardwick. The matter is resolved, though the circumstances were abominable. He paused abruptly. Then do tell me, what about the note you received? Was it all connected? He nodded. There was a hint of suspense in his very grey eyes. It's all connected, Miss Simone. Let's leave Lucy aside for now. I visited the house of Worth at Bond Street and inquired about the black evening gown. And I whispered, waiting for him to tell me what he had discovered. I want you to now tell me about this eternal love and its connection with the disappearance of Hugh Percival. I rose feebly to my feet. I went over to the single-seater sofa and sank into it. I directly faced the detective. I felt it again, the pinching within my chest. I wasted no time in gulping down a little laudanum. The bottle was in easy reach. Detective Eldridge grew concerned, but I reassured him that I was fit enough to speak. My death was imminent. I could feel it. I had heard the raven's call. But now was not the time. I had to tell him my story. I had to tell the world what really happened. For where there is love, there is always an agonizing tragedy.